Today we're going to talk about the coming censorship of Livestream, okay? In the wake of the explosion of so many live streaming apps out there, such as Periscope, YouTube Live, Facebook Live, many people are starting to realize that these live streams, now they're not just a way for people to communicate, to interact directly, but they're a way for sharing immediate news and information about breaking situations, things that are going on immediately, a terrorist attack, the riots like we saw in Berkeley, and even now, unfortunately, crimes such as this so-called Facebook shooter in Cleveland. So far, we have seen many such horrific events take place on Livestream. Suicides, the migrant rapists in Sweden, the brutal torture of the Black Lives Matter kidnapping, and now, allegedly, even a serial killer who's live streaming himself, or he was live streaming himself, commit random murders in the street. In the wake of the Facebook shooter, CNN posted an article. They said we should make it a crime to show killing on Facebook. And in that article, the writer argues that making it a crime to broadcast yourself killing somebody would lead to less live stream murders. That has to be one of the stupidest arguments I've ever heard. Publicizing murders leading to media, infamy. It goes all the way back to the Son of Sam, Jack the Ripper, 1800s. These killers with their infamous letters to the police. They knew even then, as today, the media culture of it bleeds, it leads, and as such, everybody remembers the names of the killers, and many times even the methods of killing after the media has promoted it, but hardly anybody remembers the names and faces of the innocent victims because the media doesn't focus on that. These crimes have been going on long before any live streaming apps were ever invented, because these are human crimes, and people are going to be people, regardless of how we view it or not. Now, I assess the media is going to push forward with this agenda. They're going to be calling for possible censorship of live streaming itself. And their stated reason of it is censoring violence, or we have to protect the children, right? We just have to protect the children. But trust me, their goal is to wipe out citizen and independent journalism. The real threat live streaming poses to the mainstream media establishment is that it has the ability to cut through the narrative by showing raw, uncensored truth from anywhere in the world, broadcast publicly to everywhere in the world. Live streaming only requires one person to deliver news in real time. It's uncensored content, giving viewers the opportunity to decipher what they see and hear on their own accord, without some talking head sitting in a warm studio telling them what to think about it. It's just the facts. Now, the fact that anybody with a smartphone and a stable internet connection can now produce their own broadcasting channel is a huge step towards decentralization of media power. And that's a huge loss of power for the mainstream media. They are terrified by this. They're freaking out. YouTube, they've already released these restrictions on live streaming. They call them the community guidelines. And they have these really like George Orwell 1984 kind of statements. They're like, respect the YouTube community. Don't cross the line. We review your reports carefully. And then after all that, of course, join in and have fun. Right. Facebook last year instituted guidelines for super users, allowing them to place restrictions on live streams for age, location, time zone, and for some super weird reason, gender. Back in February, Mark Zuckerberg posted a letter to Facebook saying he was outstripping our existing processes for governing the community in regards to live streaming and numerous controversies that already had arisen. But in each case, he didn't talk about violence. He talked about politics. He referenced Black Lives Matter. He referenced political speech being banned as hate speech, or taking down accounts that were up for political reasons. Of course, it was always a mistake when they were taken down, such as, people who were supporting President Donald Trump. We've all seen reports of conservative voices being silenced in the classroom, on the streets, in social media. YouTube is now demonetizing videos when they disagree with the politics of its speaker. And just this week, Cernovich Media caught Google actually directly censoring independent media platform InfoWars. They were directing all of their contractors who work on Google's site to actually delist InfoWars as a search result. The agenda, it's clear. The mainstream media is on track to censor unfiltered voices and independent journalism from the internet. That's the new marketplace of ideas. But instead of promoting and upgrading their own journalism, they're attacking others who are doing the job better than them. They'll use violence and protecting the children as the same battle cry they always have in order to censor independent media and citizen journalists, slap a gag order on them. But apparently that didn't stop them from showing wall-to-wall coverage of the horrific images of dead children in Syria just a few weeks ago as they were calling for military action against Assad in Syria. Funny how that works. Jack Posobiec, your Washington bureau chief for Rebel Media. Mainstream media is falling, and independent media is taking over, and they know it. If you want to hear more of the truth, make sure to click like and subscribe right here to Rebel Media.